Hi, we're on the second video for section 9.2, and on this first example for this one we're going to be solving for time. Right, so we know the interest and it is $1,586. Principal is $43,500. We know our rate. I'm going to write that as 8.75%, and then time is what we're looking for. And you know we also have to change this to a decimal point, 0.0875. I actually used that rate on the first example, just practicing with the calculator on this section. So let's set this up. We know the interest, so 1586 divided by parenthesis, we've got to use that parenthesis, 43,500 times 0.0875, and that's going to give us time. So my time is this big long decimal number. I'm going to write it out, 4166.83087. You might be thinking, what in the world is this number? But this is just a portion of a year. Okay, so this is less than half a year. 0.4 would be less than half of a year. And if we wanted to know what this was in months and in days, notice up here I said that, right? Months and days. Then we have to calculate that. So to find months, we multiply by 12, and that's approximately 5 months. We're just rounding that. And then if it's days, we multiply by 365, and it's about 152 days. And it's okay to round those to whole numbers. So these are actually our answers for this particular question. All right, and then the next example, I have this one written out a little bit differently. As you can see, it's in a word problem form, which is actually probably more normal for the kind of questions that we do in this class. And so it says you decide to pay off a 9.5% $4,000 loan early. So we know the rate, 9.5% as a decimal point, 0.095. A $4,000 loan early, so we know that that is $4,000. The bank tells you that you owe $167.62 in interest, 167.62. And assuming that the bank uses a 365-day year, for how many days are you being charged interest? So we are looking for time. So once you've figured out all your numbers in the question, then you're ready to go. So let's calculate the time. 167.62 divided by, don't forget your parentheses, $4,000 times our interest rate, 0.095. And so time is equal to another big long decimal number, 44110.5263, and then we multiply that times 365 to find out the number of days, because notice it said for how many days are you being charged interest. So times 365, and that's about 161 days. All right, so when you're calculating time, there's always another calculation to do to figure out days or months, because this is years, right? That little number that we've got right there. Okay, next question. This is just kind of what I think is an interesting kind of question. You get a payday loan. The lender charges you $7 per week for each $100 you borrow. Assuming you borrow $600 for 2 weeks, what APR will you be paying? Well, the APR is the rate, right? So that's our rate. And that's what we're going to be looking for. So we don't know the APR. Now you have to actually calculate a few things. You borrowed $600, so we know that much. But to find the interest, the lender charges you $7 per week, so 7, for each $100 you borrow. And we're borrowing for 2 weeks, so $7 for 2 weeks for each 100 you borrow, and you're borrowing 600. And so when we're figuring our time here, we're going to put 14 days over 365, right? Because this is a 2-week loan. All right, so when we multiply up here, we find that our interest is $84. All right, so calculate. 84 divided by $600 times 14 divided by 365. Right parenthesis, don't forget that part. When we get this decimal number, you might be a little bit confused about it when you see that. That is the decimal value, and the percent is going to be 365%. And that is our rate, right? That's our APR, which is a little scary, isn't it? Yeah, that's very, very high. But it's a payday loan, don't forget that. The next one says you open a checking account and you're paid 3% interest on the average balance, but are charged you are paid 3% interest on the average balance, but are charged a $6 monthly charge. Assuming that interest is paid monthly, regardless of the number of days in the month, we're just going to say every month, calculate the average daily balance you must maintain to offset the $6 monthly charge. That was a lot, right? I understand that. Well, basically, when we want to see if we can earn $6 in interest, right? Because our monthly fee is $6, so that's how much we want to earn. We get paid 3% interest on the account, and that's monthly, so 1 out of 12. Right? It says you're charged $6 monthly, so we want to see how much interest can we earn in 1 month to equal $6. How much money do we have to have in the bank to do that? So we're looking for our principal. Right, our average daily balance is going to be, average daily balance is principal. So the principal is equal to interest divided by, our interest rate of 3% would be 0.03 times 1 divided by 12. So that's our calculation. And we find that we would have to average in our account every day $2,400. And I don't know about you guys, you're probably thinking, really? We got to keep that much in there, huh? But yeah, that's what this is saying. So to offset your $6 of charges each month, this is the balance you would have to carry, the principal amount. And then here's this last thing. I found this quote a long time ago, and I used to teach high school, and so to me, here's what this means. Sometimes students want to argue with you and engage you and get you aggravated, and so that's what I call wrestling with a pig, right? You'll both get dirty, but the pig enjoys it, and the teacher doesn't. The teacher doesn't enjoy that. So that's what I always thought about, and that was when I was teaching high school, you know, because sometimes it can be a little difficult. All right, you guys are done with this lesson, and I'll be talking to you again on the next lesson.